Hey guys, Metal Viking 82 here, back with a new Viking Orations. Got some more single reviews to do for you today. Just did a video about some new 2022 releases that I have picked up. So I thought, why not do some reviews for some new songs from some bands that either have an album coming out soon or potentially could be releasing something soon. So we're going to kick things off with some fun here with Municipal Waste and their brand new song, Grave Dive. Now, this is the first single off of this Virginia-based thrash metal slash crossover band's forthcoming 7th full-length album entitled Electrified Brain, which is due out July 1st on Nuclear Blast. Now, right off the bat, that opening riff has a serious Sodom feel to it. Particularly the song Agent Orange is what it reminded me of. And it really gets your head banging right away. And in fact, the whole rhythm of this entire song reminds you of Agent Orange, I feel. The guitars are heavy toned, laying down those mid-pace, thrashy riffs with some even faster moments here and there, and a really nice solo at the 142 mark. The bass is equally heavy toned with just a little twang to it, easily heard in the mix, laying down a nice backbone for the track. I love the drum sound on here. It's got a nice snap to the snare, and the kicks have a really nice oomph to them. And, while he doesn't do anything super flashy or anything in terms of his playing, he does lay down a nice solid beat throughout the whole song. And then finally, Ryan Waste's vocals sound as good as ever. I love his shouting. And I also love the use of gang shouts in this song. Overall, I think this is another just fun, headbangable song from these thrashers, and it has me really excited to hear the rest of this album. And it actually comes in a long box edition, which, like I've said previously, a lot of bands are doing these long box editions. Municipal Waste are no exception. This is going to be limited to 1,300 copies, and it includes a sticker and a pin. Of course, I will be leaving links down below to all these bands so you can check out these songs for yourself. All right, moving along, we have Aversed with Every Hill a Tomb. Now, this is the first single featuring new vocalist Sarah Hartman, who replaced Heidi Irizarry, who left the band just last year in 2021. And, as usual with this band, the guitars are heavy toned, laying down these mid-pace riffs, got a nice solo going on at the 250 mark. And honestly, anytime I listen to Aversed, I can't help at some point getting a bit of a Killswitch Engage vibe to some of the riffs, and this song is no different, which is not a bad thing, believe me. Nice twangy bass throughout this whole song, easily made out throughout, providing that much needed backbone. And I really love the tone they got for the bass here. They always seem to get some really good bass tones, I've noticed. Solid drum production on here, good snap to the snare, and I really love the double bass work and the blast beats on this song. The synth work sounds fantastic to me. It's not overly used or overpowering. It's only utilized, it's really utilized effectively at the right time to really create a nice atmosphere in the song. And, I think Sarah actually has an absolutely beautiful singing voice with some real power to it, and she delivers some really killer growls as well that are equally as powerful as her singing voice. Overall, when this Bostonian, melodic death metal act announced Heidi's departure, I was really bummed because I really enjoyed her performances on all of their material, and I thought, man, who can they get to replace Heidi? And honestly, I gotta say, after hearing this new song, I think Sarah is more than an adequate replacement for her, and I really, really look forward to hearing a new album from these guys and hearing just exactly what she could do even more on a full-length album, not just a single song. All right, moving on. We have some Indiana metal. Of course, can't do a video without Indiana metal, We have Carrion Vael with Wings of Deliverance. Now, this is a brand new song to celebrate the recent signing of this Richmond, Indiana-based technical / melodic death metal act to Unique Leader Records, which is always so cool when I see Indiana bands get signed to a bigger named label. So I was really stoked for these guys when I heard that. Now, when I was listening to the song, and I've listened to it quite a bit here recently, really great guitar tone on here, nice heavy, chuggy riffs mixed with the fast-paced riffing, as well as some more techie sections and some nice killer solos. Really good example of a nice solo on here, probably my favorite in the song. It happens at around the 3:52 mark. The bass is thick and easily heard thrumming away throughout the whole song, and I just love this brief little section at the 2:28 mark where it gets to do a little bit of a solo of sorts, just kind of a brief little, and you just really get a good feel for the tone that it has. Solid drum production on here with a nice snap to the snare and some really fast double bass at times, and some really nice patterns, rolls, and fills. And I loved the blast beats. In fact, the production on the drums on this song, especially the snare sound, really reminded me of Tim Young, who's probably one of my favorite drummers in death metal, to be honest. Now, vocalist Travis Lawson, I think, turns in a really powerful and varied performance on this song. He has a Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder vibe to him, in that he mixes and utilizes a mid-range growl with these nice screams that really, the screams are what really remind me of Trevor the most. But just his way he mixes both styles of vocals also kind of leads to that comparison. And then at times he even does this sort of kind of Archspire-ish rapid fire delivery, though not quite as fast as Archspire. I don't know how that guy does it. But I also love how they layer his vocals as well throughout this song. I also love the choir-esque vocals that are used periodically as backing vocals in this track to kind of sort of accentuate things a little bit, i.e. the very opening of the song, and again around the 2:04 mark. And the synths, I think, really add a little something to it. And honestly, those really give the song a bit of a Dimmu Borgir-ish feel when they come in and make their presence known. Overall, an absolute banger of a song. If this is how the next album is going to sound, sign me up. I will be pre-ordering it the minute it comes, the announcement comes. And finally, we have, excuse me one second. Sorry about that, needed to get a drink of water. Alrighty, next up and lastly, we have Writhing Shadows with Warp Lust Contortion. Sorry, I couldn't read my own writing. Alright, now, this is the first single off this Alabama-based Death Crew's forthcoming debut self-titled full-length album, due out next week on May 13th through Gurgling Gore here in the USA and Dawnbreed Records out of Europe. They did release a demo single back in January called Valkyrie of Blood, but I'm considering this the first single off this album simply because it's the first finished product that we have. And right off the bat, those heavy, crunchy guitars hit you with the slow to mid-paced riffs. And at times, they actually have a bit of a Cannibal Corpse feel to them. Good example, around the 1:30-ish mark. That little riffing right in there really sounded like Cannibal Corpse to me. The bass is thick and heavy, and while not overly high in the mix, it's easily heard throughout, working with the guitars to produce that wall of heaviness that you hear. At the 1:53 mark, you get some feedback, and then this slow drum beat, and then the bass is the only other instrument around. And it really gives you a good idea of the bass tone. Until about the 2:07 mark, you get a nice string slide, and those just crunchy-ass guitars make their return. Drum production was solid. Really liked the kick sound. It has some really nice blast beats on here. Vocally, the growls reminded me a lot of Flesh Crawl. Think Soul Skinner era Flesh Crawl. And they always have, to be honest with you, in any material that I've heard from this band. I've been a fan of this band pretty much ever since I saw them on Crypt Fest a while back. Only other thing I picked out here in this song is at the 2:25 mark, this church bell rings in faintly in the background, and it actually appears throughout the rest of the song. And I think, honestly, that really gives a little extra ominous atmosphere to this song. Overall, these guys have never disappointed me, and this song is just pure, heavy as balls death metal. And I am very anxious to hear the rest of this album. Like I said, I will be leaving links down below for all these bands so you can check these songs out for yourself. And when it comes time, pick up a copy if you so desire. That is going to do it. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing. And until next time, stay brutal.